knew then her future was not going to be very bright, bruh. Now, a lot of people was kind of surprised by this. I'm not, because I know, you know what I'm saying, what she did to Caitlin Clark was completely unnecessary, and I'm here to tell you guys she's living with that decision today because she is without a job. Getting news hot off the press. It looked like the push that was heard around the world has cost WNBA player Chennedy Carter her career.
Tyler Marsh did the press conference. He talked about Angel Reese. He talked about Cardoso, who I think is going to be a star in the WNBA. But he did not really mention Chennedy Carter at all, and that raised a lot of eyebrow.
I knew then her future was not going to be very bright, bro. Now a lot of people was kind of surprised by this. I'm not, because I know you know what I'm saying. What she did to Caitlin Clark was completely unnecessary. And I'm here to tell you guys she's living with that decision today because she is without a job. Chennedy Carter's cheap shot on Caitlin Clark wasn't just a foul, it was a full-blown career implosion. Now she is dealing with the fallout. No job, a wrecked reputation, and a future in the WNBA that's hanging by a thread. Some might say it was just a little shove, but here's the truth. The Chicago Sky didn't even hesitate to cut her loose. No core designation, no contract, just an express ticket to unemployment. Imagine going from a promising talent to completely unwanted in record time. Breaking news hot off the press. It looked like the push that was heard around world has cost WNBA player Chennedy Carter her career, but should we really be surprised? Carter has built a career on bad decisions. She's already burned bridges with multiple teams, and this time she went too far. 3 teams and 0 lessons learned, and now she's out of chances. When Tyler Marsh did the press conference, he talked about Angel Reese. He talked about Cardoso, who I think is going to be a star in the WNBA, but he did not really mention Chennedy Carter at all, and that raised a lot of eyebrows. Seriously, what did she think was going to happen? You don't just shove the face of the WNBA, the league's biggest star, and expect to walk away unscathed. Caitlin Clark isn't just any player, she's the league's golden ticket, the biggest draw in women's basketball. And Carter, well, she just turned herself into the league's most radioactive free agent. Teams are running the other way. I mean, that's clearly a foul which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Chennedy Carter, the moment was a complete disaster for Carter, and we're about to break down exactly how it went down. The Chicago Sky vs. Indiana Fever matchup was already tense with emotions running high. The stakes were clear. Clark was dominating as usual, and Carter, she was getting cooked, and then out of nowhere she completely lost it. That push right there was that right there, I believe, was the push that altered her career, and I'm telling you right now, it is not looking good for Ken Carter. She didn't just commit a hard foul, she straight up shoved Clark while barking an exploitive, cementing her spot on every WNBA team's do not sign list. It was a full-on meltdown, an impulsive decision made worse by the fact that everyone was watching. The crowd gasped, the players on the court were stunned, and one by one every WNBA coach watching mentally crossed Carter's name off their roster when she took it upon herself to put her filthy thug hands on WNBA player Caitlin Clark. The footage from that moment is brutal. You can hear the audible shock from the crowd. One scout who was courtside told us, "I've never seen anything like it. It wasn't just the push, it was the energy behind it. You could see the frustration boiling over. That's not what we want in this league." And let's talk about Clark's reaction, because that's what made this moment even more unforgettable. You can literally see the confusion on her face, like she couldn't even comprehend what had just happened. Later, Clark admitted, "For a second time stood still, I felt the shove and I just thought, wow, really?" And that's the problem for Carter. This wasn't just a heated moment, it became a defining moment. We calling someone on the B word while literally freaking winding up for a cheap shot. Yeah, that has to be taken into account. And then after the cheap shot, staring over and saying something before walking away like you can't give like that is 3 separate technical fakas. Because here's the real issue, Carter wasn't just reckless, she was unapologetic. That's what sealed her fate. The crowd immediately turned on her, booing louder than they had all night. Every single person in that arena knew what they had just witnessed. And it's not just fans who took notice. WNBA scouts, executives and decision-makers were in the building that night. Some of the biggest names in the sport were watching this disaster unfold in real time, and the reaction, not good, right? You're jealous. That was a Bush League play, and it needs to be addressed. That was a flagrant foul. That was unnecessary. Flagrant. Anything deemed to be unnecessary. I need somebody to explain to me why was that necessary. One scout who has played a role in signing some of the league's top players put it bluntly, "It's not just the shove, it's the attitude afterward. In this league we want players who can handle pressure and be role models." Carter showed the exact opposite. That's not someone you want leading your franchise. Let's be honest, Carter didn't just push Caitlin Clark. She shoved her own career off a cliff, and at this point it's unclear if anyone's willing to catch her on the way down after that shameless cheap shot. Chennedy Carter had a golden opportunity to do some damage control. She could have taken responsibility, apologized, or at the very least acknowledged what happened, but nope, instead she stood in front of reporters, shrugged it off, and flat out lied, saying, "I didn't say anything on the play," before bumping into Caitlin. "She turned to you a little bit after the Faye no K Clark questions, "Did she say anything to you?" "I don't know what she said." "What you say to her?" "I didn't ken on the play." Before bumping in with Caitlin, as y'all heard their man Chennedy Carter letting be know she was not answering any Caitlin Clark questions, and I'm telling you right now she probably wished she should have, because she's without a job. Seriously, that's her response. No remorse, no accountability, just pure denial. Did she really think that if she ignored the problem it would magically disappear? Spoiler alert, it didn't disappear, it got a whole lot worse. She might be thinking, okay, but she's a talented player, right? Surely that should count for something. Well, guess what, it doesn't. Not when you're burning bridges left and right, and the Chicago Sky made that crystal clear when their general manager dropped a bombshell statement about Carter's future with the team, and let's just say it wasn't a ringing endorsement. Chennedy Carter had an incredible season for us last year. But in a statement provided by Chicago signs she's extremely talented and is a player that can impact the game at the highest level in our league. We absolutely appreciate what she did for our team last year. However, we've made changes to our staff and will make changes to our rosters. Those changes impact Kennedy's fit on the team, so we wanted to give her the best opportunity as a free agent. The Sky front office didn't just question Carter's on-court value. They flat out rejected her from their future plans. They made it clear that her fit with the team mattered more than her stat sheet, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is code for she's a locker room nightmare. But wait, it gets juicier. Remember Carter's partner in drama, Angel Reese, the one who was supposed to have her back? Yeah, about that. Word on the street is that even Reese is done with Carter. How do we know? Well, Reese just unfollowed Carter on social media, and before you roll your eyes and say, "So what? It's just Instagram." Let's be real, in today's world that's the digital equivalent of slamming the door in someone's face. It's like a giant flashing neon sign that screams locker room drama incoming. I mean, look, she's part of the culture problem, but that's very interesting. You know, I assumed, I'm not going to lie to you, I assumed the Chicago Sky was going to bring her back, and it's not just resources inside the Sky organization are saying that multiple teammates are done with Carter, with some even pushing for her to be gone before next season. Can you imagine? 1 minute you're supposed to be a franchise star and the next your own teammates don't even want you in the building. And then there's the real gut punch. The Chicago Sky didn't just bench Carter. They refused to even offer her a qualifying contract. Let that sink in. They said, Chennedy Carter not getting an offer from the guy means one thing: someone influenced you in the locker room, did not want her on the team. You never let your best offensive player and arguably your best player walk away from nothing unless there are locker room issues in the WNBA. Teams rarely let their leading scorers walk away for nothing. It's practically unheard of, but with Carter the Sky straight up said, "We'd rather have no one than have you." Oh, that's brutal. I mean, she can score with the lights out. I mean, she's pure offense, a shooting guard, scoring guard, and instant offense. But if you're a team, do you really want her on the team? I wouldn't. And here's where things get really crazy. Some people are saying that this whole thing isn't just about Carter's locker room antics or even that shove on Clark. It's about the future of the WNBA itself. Think about it. Caitlin Clark isn't just another player, she's the WNBA's biggest asset right now. She's drawing record-breaking, crowd-boosting TV ratings, and potentially bringing in a better bargaining agreement for every single player in the league. And everybody talk about other NBA, WNBA players not being appreciated. Nobody insulted them, nobody dismissed their contribution. We were simply saying, despite the contributions for years and years and years, a lot of people didn't care, fair or not, until Caitlin Clark came along. And Carter, she picked a fight with the league's golden goose by shoving Clark. Did Carter actually shove herself right out of the WNBA? Because at this point it sure looks like it. She's an unrestricted free agent now, a player in her prime, supposedly still valuable, right? So teams should be lining up to sign her, right? Wrong. We spoke to insiders across the WNBA and what they told us absolutely shocking, whereas no team wants the cancer